Welcome everyone to Thick and Fit Podcast, the podcast where we celebrate strength, confidence, and of course, beauty from inside and out. I'm your host, Lady Flo, wellness bodybuilding athlete, and your stars when it comes to keeping it real, when it comes to fitness, and of course, self care and your best self. Today's episode is a really special one. I know it's going to resonate with many of you. We're diving into the unique topic of skin beauty, specifically when it comes to melanated skin. We know that our richness, our resilience, and yes, it comes with many challenges with it. Whether you're prepping for a bodybuilding show, reclaiming your confidence, and just looking to have your best everyday glow, this episode is for you. Joining me is an expert who knows all about helping women shine bright. I have Maureen Abawanga. Did I say your name right? From Mahaba Wellness Services in Ottawa, Gatineau, is here to talk about facials, laser treatments, and everything specifically when it comes to dark skin tones. And she's going to help us get ready and tell us how to prep for whether it is for the spotlight, whether it is for stage or your everyday life. So grab your water, grab your pen, grab your notes, sit back and get ready to glow up because this episode is packed with gems you won't want to miss out. So let's dive into it. Welcome, Maureen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. How you doing today?
Oh, doing fantastic. So tell me, how did you come about? Like, what was the inspiration for you to start Mahaba Wellness Services?
I started in the beauty industry, I think back in 2016, and it was just a hobby. I was doing lashes, then I was doing nails,
I didn't
and
know that you started with lashes.
yes,
Okay.
I found my certificate a little while ago,
Okay.
and I was like, oh wow. Yeah, I started with lashes. I was doing mani-pedis, and it was just in my apartment. And I had some frequent customers. And then I briefly worked at a spa in Ottawa. And then in 2020, I bought my house and I retrofitted the basement. That was just during the pandemic, you know. Once the basement was done up, I opened a spa there and I decided, you know what, I really did enjoy that time that I had. And so I wanted to expand more on it. And I had taken the medical aesthetics courses and a few other certificates in there. So I incorporated Mahaba Wellness Services and I started from my basement. And it kept growing. I got wonderful, wonderful clients who motivated me to keep going. And then in 2023, when I got pregnant, I started looking for a corporate or more of a commercial space that I could work out of, which is where I found the British, and I moved into the British Hotel last year. So that's where we are.
Okay.
The name Mahaba, people always ask me, is that your name? It's not my
Yeah.
name.
What does it mean?
Mahaba means like love, like head over heels, that like so much love that you can't quantify it. That's what Mahaba means in Swahili. And so it was all about like the love of self, that
Mm,
nurtured love, because I do believe that especially as women, we are not catered to the way we should, especially in this end of the world, you know.
yes.
It's always go, go, go. You have kids, you have career, you have home duties. There's just so much going on that we tend to forget about self-care, self-preservation. It almost seems like whenever you have time for yourself, it's a little bit selfish.
Yeah. And what about that specifically wanted to make sure that your services catered to melanated skin? Like, what was that about? Mm-hmm.
While I worked at the spa, I used to like not even just that, even just go on YouTube, on social media. You hear so many Black folk talking about the horrors that they've endured when going for treatments, especially treatments like hyperpigmentation treatments, treatments for laser hair removal, treatments, any laser-based treatments, be it for facials, for
Yeah.
um, anything. And I've literally heard people go, well, they're dark, they're not that dark. So maybe they're just like the dark
Mhm.
Indian, which is like a skin type 5. And so they treat them with like a diode laser that is not
Okay, yeah,
uh
we'll talk about that. But first, what are the like unique? Why is it so hard with melanated skin? What's the challenges? Like, why does it require special care?
well, we have a few unique characteristics with melanin skin, right? For the
Hmm.
melanin stuff, the darkness in our skin from our melanocytes give us that melanin protection against UV rays, against cancer, against sunburn. Um, we have a skin type that is also sensitive, and not sensitive in the traditional way that people think, oh, well, I can scrub and then my skin peels or my skin breaks out. No, melanin skin, for instance, we are more prone to hyperpigmentation because, again, of our rich color, right? And even in
Hmm.
our healing process is not the same. Um, as everyone else. While the initial process might be the same all across the board, when we have the darkness in our skin, we run that risk of that hyperpigmentation, which can lead to darker scars or marks compared to lighter skin tones, right? And then we have that
Right.
oil production in our skin. There's usually three layers of skin, which is the
Okay.
epidermis, the dermis, and then the subcutaneous layer there, right? Um,
Hmm.
for Black folk, for melanin rich folks, that dermis layer usually ends up being thicker than and having higher
Hmm.
levels of oil production. And these
Is
can
that what caused like the hyperpigmentation? What causes like these spots? Like,
not
why are we more prone?
necessarily, our hyperpigmentation comes from the darkness that we have, right? That our
Okay.
melanocytes tend to increase production every
Hmm.
now and then when we wound ourselves during like regular day-to-day wear, right? So we have sun damage from being outside in the sun too much. We have what do you call it? Aging. Aging plays a factor in this. Where we are located over here in Canada, we have very harsh weathers, right? So
Yes.
streaming from winter to summer, a lot of people tend to notice, like in the winter time, their skin is lighter. In the summertime, they get
Yeah.
darker.
Yes,
Uh,
it's true. It's true. And sometimes people's like, did you like do something to your skin?
no,
So
it's
what would you say,
just
Maureen? Like, what are the professional treatment? Like right now, there's a lot of noise. A lot of people are doing facials. Like,
mm,
what are some professional treatment do you would recommend for people who want to improve their hyperpigmentation? What can we do?
okay. So there's a few different ways right now with technology, right?
Okay.
Technology has veered the the array when you compare now to like 10 years ago, the range of treatments that we have are really, really like great, right? So there's
Okay.
different types of therapies that we can go through to help with hyperpigmentation. Chemical peels, laser therapy, microneedling, which is my go-to for hyperpigmentation because I find it really resets the skin. We
So what is
have
micro needling? Like, what is it exactly?
so microneedling is a procedure that uses really fine needles to create
Okay.
tiny punctures into the skin, which stimulate collagen production. And when combined with skin enhancing serums and renewal systems, that topical treatment really helps to improve that hyperpigmentation by telling your skin to, okay, let's go back to the basics and normalize. from the
Mhm.
inside out, right? Whereas a lot of people usually tend to think, well, not it's going to be punctures. That's going to cause a lot of scarring or things like that. No, when done right by a professional, this treatment can gravely increase the your skin texture, the hyperpigmentation, if you have any acne scarring, if you have any regular scarring on your skin, uneven skin, breakouts. Microneedling really does a wonderful job with that. It's just you have to pair it with the right treatments, really follow the regimen that is given to you by your professional, and do your research too. You
Mhm.
know, I always tell people, like during my consultations, just because I said so doesn't make it so. Like I guide you based on my knowledge and my experience. However, at the end of the day, you also have the ability and the capability to go and do some research. You know your skin. Go and do some
Right.
research. Challenge your esthetician. You know, that's
Mm.
how I learn. I like being challenged.
And I think especially when it comes to melanin skin, it's important that wherever you go to have somebody who is experienced and expert in, dark skin tones, right?
Of course, it really does. There's because when it comes to aesthetics, aesthetics is taught at a base level. Just like
Mhm.
anything else in school, you've gone through years of schooling.
Right.
When you're in school, you're taught the basics. The onus is on you to enrich yourself with knowledge later on, right? So I'm always constantly learning, and I gear my learning because I find in school we're taught more from the Fitzpatrick scale 1 through 4. They don't really delve into 5 and 6 because a lot of them don't even understand. Even with some of the machinery that we buy,
You said 5 and 6 is what? There's like a different like number for
there's
skin
different
tone?
gradients. Yes, there's different
Tell us
gradients
about
from
that.
like
So what is
very
it?
pale to very dark.
What am
So
I? I'm just curious. What would
we
I be?
we are skin type 6, Fitzpatrick
Okay.
scale 6. So that's always our very rich melanin folks. And then
Okay,
you
folks, you here we're number 6. So not everybody that like not every spa you go to will be able to cater to
No,
okay.
depending on the treatments that they offer, not everybody can cater to us. And I
Okay.
always really, really appreciate the spas that tell our folks right up front, I'm sorry, but I don't have the machine that can cater to your skin tone. Whereas there's some people who will go and joke about it or just think, well, they're about a skin type 4-5. 4-5 can do because you're a lighter skinned black person, you know? And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, just because they're fairer melanin people, but we still have that melanin richness in us, you know?
Right. Right. Right.
And that's where we need to really educate ourselves before going to just get any treatment, right? We really
Mm-hmm.
need to learn more about our own skin because it's not really taught like that in the aesthetics field. I have a whole bunch of machines that nobody really touches on even our skin tones that like it was up to me to really learn how they affect
Go
our
get
skin
that
tones.
extra.
And everything that I use, I honestly go in and try it on myself first.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I want to see um what the tolerance is pain wise or what the course of treatments are. You came in for a laser hair removal session. I showed you what can happen to our skin and I showed you from my own experience, right?
Right.
So
Right.
and I explained to everybody, like, this is how it happens. This is how I've seen it from my perspective, from my client's perspective. And I'm just really honest about it.
Yeah.
It's
And
not a one
Maureen,
shoe fits all.
I agree. So, Maureen, for hyperpigmentation, I just had a question now that popped out in my head. So you, in terms of services, is it just like microneedling for the face, or is other parts in the body that you can address? Like, what about like the armpits or other area? I don't know what we want to call it.
The beauty with aesthetics is that
Hmm.
treatments can be custom designed. Right?
Hmm.
So it's always important to go in for a consultation. I offer free consultations because I want to hear from you what the problem is, when it started, how it started. Because sometimes, yes, you need that aesthetic help, but it also,
Right.
a lot of help comes from how you nourish your body. We have to
Nourish your body.
work together. We have to work together to heal from the inside out and from the
Mm,
other way in, I offer a different course of facials that I can pair up. Microneedling doesn't necessarily only have to be for the face. You can do it for the face, for the neck, for the décolletage, for arms, like hands and feet. No, I haven't tried
okay.
microneedling on the Brazilian area yet.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
do offer oxygeneo for that, which does help with that, paired with some really good serums and ointments, which I would use in a vajacial treatment, for instance, for that, right?
Okay.
And
We heard it. We have some special treatment for.
yes, because I get a lot of clients who have done waxing for years and they have really sensitive skin and they end up with like 3 to 5 different like pigments in that area,
Yeah.
ranging from one thigh to the other. So we really work together to make those treatments, those pigments camouflage into one. It takes a series of sessions sometimes, but I've seen for some people in as quick as 2 sessions when I pair my oxygenator with the serums that I have and some scrubs that are for home use. So I give you a
Yeah.
home care regimen. We talk about how, like, what you eat at home, how you nourish your body from the inside, how you, because it's also very important for us to, as I've lost my train of thought.
No, no, but it's
It's
okay. But so basically, what you're saying is not just doing the treatment, but you also like give some remedies
you
on
have to.
what they can do at home.
Yes, we go through a full range of treatments that we can you can follow up at home. There are some clients who don't like in today's day and age, people are becoming really more aware of all the chemicals that come,
Yeah.
like, that we are exposed to. So there's a lot of people who like going the natural route. So I
Can you
usually
tell us? Can you share us a little bit like what we can do at home in terms to help with hyperpigmentation?
So cleansing, the way you cleanse your skin is very important. There are a lot of scrubs that you can make and that you can buy over the counter as well that can help with just removing the dead skin, really exfoliating that area and cleansing it well. Because the problem when we are
Cleansing, but what do you mean by cleansing it well? What does that mean?
so a double cleanse or like scrubbing twice a week, a good scrub for hyperpigmentation. There are scrubs, and I will be actually hosting this spring and summertime workshops for how to make
Okay.
these different. So I don't want to delve too much into that
Okay,
because
okay,
it's
okay,
like
okay. All right. You want to
we
keep a
can
little
we
bit
can do
secret.
another segment in the springtime to showcase
No
all of
worries.
these products, but I do discuss this in length with my clients during the consultation, and I send them little when they if I do have products like shelf over the counter products that they can purchase. However, if they want more natural based products, I do custom make a recipe for them that they can make at home.
Let's dive now into a topic about lasers because that's where I came in to do my consultation about it. And I
Mhm.
remember before I was considering it, I had saw something online and it was like, oh, like when it comes to like dark skin tones, melanin skin, you have to be careful with laser because it actually like could scar you. So like tell us about like a little bit about what's going on with laser treatment and why is it like you have to be really what question you need to ask as a dark skin tone person and why it's different.
So with laser hair removal, again, we're gonna go back into that melanin richness in our skin, right?
Okay.
Um, when you go from Fitzpatrick scale 1, which is the palest of pale people, to us in the 6 area, when you're looking at Caucasians, their machine doesn't really have to differentiate too much between the melanin in their skin and the melanin in their hair because you can see the difference right there. So the machine really just works superficially. right?
Mm,
It's just going
okay.
in and killing because it can see the difference in color. You're going in and killing the hair follicles from that length. But for us, our problem is that we are dark, our hairs are dark. So when you go into like a lighter, there's different wavelengths of
Mm-hmm.
laser hair removal machines, right? If you use the wrong wavelength, it does not know to differentiate between our skin. It cannot differentiate between our color of the skin and the color in our hair, which is what causes that burn. So we need to look for something that is more specific, and that's the Nd:YAG. The name is so long, don't even ask me to pronounce it.
And yeah, okay.
Nd:YAG is what we're looking for. There are some machines that do triple wavelength, so they've um, customized the wavelengths into three, whereby it is safe to use on us. But it is very important to ask that does always ask, does your machine cater to dark skin tones? Do you have an
Mm.
ND-YAG? What type of machine do you use? And when clients, like when you came in for your
Yeah,
consultation,
then walk us through how does the
we
the process of
discussed
the laser treatment.
We discussed your concerns. You showed me
Right.
the area that you want to work on. So we discussed the treatment regimen, how many sessions I recommend, the pros and cons. We discuss all the things that can happen, which is even with our machine that is catered to our skin, there still is a chance of erosion, which is that it's a very superficial burn. Um,
Mhm.
they don't really like to call it a burn, but it
No,
is
it
anything.
was an interesting feeling. Like it's I don't know what it was, but because I had like I went to do for chin hair laser removal, and it's interesting feeling. But I have to say, like I didn't share with you, Maureen, that, but I feel great. Like afterwards, like I don't feel brittle. It looks great. Like I feel like I'm getting like results in my first session already. So uh,
Honestly, and that is usually my experience with a lot of people. However, we have different hair
right.
types, right? So we have people who range from like PCOS to just regular hormonal changes that cause a few hair growths that we don't like, right? So with people who have PCOS, unfortunately, they don't usually end up seeing results as quickly as you and I do, right? But I really do make sure to emphasize this and really discuss with them the steps. And there's things again that can be done at home to help with this, starting with the scrubbing again that I usually recommend. Um, how to properly exfoliate at home, things that you can do at home in length to help with this process and making this process easy on the both of us, right? Remember, I showed you, like for instance, my own underarm when I got that erosion with the dark spots, and it's
Right.
not there. You don't really see it, but when it does happen, you freak out. A lot of my clients, I always make sure to prepare them for this during the
Right.
consultation
Right.
and tell them this is something that can happen. Doesn't always happen, but it can happen. If it happens, it will happen over a course of XYZ days based on how I'm seeing their skin and my initial analysis of it. Um, and then I give you a pamphlet about my machine, my
Mm-hmm.
specific machine that I use. And I always tell people, go home, read about it. Go do a little bit of research. Nowadays, it's so easy. Even Reddit has everything listed up for you there. All of these machines that are Health Canada FDA approved, you can usually see them right online. You can see what people think. Be able to make an informed decision. As women, I think that's something that is usually taken away from us because of how go, go, go we have to be. So I like to make my space safe for everybody that comes in. I like them to feel that they were given the knowledge that they needed and not just
Mm-hmm.
rushed or forced into buying something that they now regret. So go home,
Yeah.
do your research, see what the machine has to offer, see what other companies have to offer. then come in on
Yeah,
your first session. I always say the first session is going to be the longest. You're going to ask me
right.
every single question that you have. I will explain everything as I do it step by step. If you need me to hold your hand, I will hold your hand too while we go through it.
And
So,
you also do like a little test, right? We did a
yes,
little
I do a
test
patch
too,
test during the
patch test.
consultation so that you see what it feels like. You see, like, if there's any allergic reaction, any allergies to anything. I have very sensitive skin, so I tend to use what I use on myself, on my clients, because chances are if it doesn't react on me, it's really not going to react on anybody else, because I'm always that. When they say it's going to work for 99% of the people, I'm that 0.001%. So I like to, all my products are the ones that I would use for myself and my kids at home. So that patch test enables you to see that pain tolerance, the if you're going to have an allergic reaction to anything that I use, I'd rather you react on a small one by one area rather than your whole, whichever body
Right.
area you're looking to have done. And you get to see what you're committing to. Because a lot of these machines say pain free, there still is a gradient of pain in there. Now, for me personally, pain is relative. And I'm not usually, when people ask me, so how painful it is, I'm not the one to ask. I fall asleep through most painful, what people consider to be painful. But you get to see what you're committing to, and you also get to meet me, the person that's going to be doing your treatments, or if it's my mom that's going to be doing it, or whomever it is. It's important to know that because it's a relationship that we're
Mhm.
formulating here, you have to be okay with me. You have to be okay with the space that you're going to be getting this work done. You're going to be getting work done. It's a vulnerable thing. No, you don't
It
just
is.
go anywhere and you go sit down and either take off your pants or take off your clothes. So I like people to feel very, very comfortable in the space that they're in, the person that's working on them, and the procedural steps that's going to be going on.
And Maureen, what I liked about our consultation, and you talked to me, and I wasn't aware. Like I always thought that laser was permanently hair removal, and I think sometimes it could be marketed that way. But you may need to like schedule several session. But yeah, talk about like do we have to do like all the 8 session, or does somebody like like if we're working really well for me like one session, I may just need 3 sessions? Or how long does
So,
it
like
take
I
us?
said before, it's not a one shoe fits all, right? So, I
Right.
recommend based on my experience in the past and based on the area that I'm working on, right? There's some
Ah,
areas, for instance, like the underarms. There's some people, their underarms after 4 sessions, they're just like, you know what? I'm good. I myself have only done 4 sessions on my underarms and I've shaved what? There's like I can count one underarm, I have like 8 hairs, the other one I have like six. I count them, yes. But I've shaved like 4 times in 2 years and I had a baby, which is when your
right.
hormones are at the most. So I always tell people, like, we'll start with what I recommend. If you get to a point where, okay, well, I'm seeing now my chin, 4 sessions in, I'm not seeing anything anymore. That is good for you. We can transfer those sessions to the next body part that we're doing.
Ah, okay, okay. That's nice. Okay, I did
They
not know
don't
about
just get
that.
lost in the abyss. That for
Okay,
me, that's highway robbery. But they don't just get lost in the abyss. So people usually end up either you can transfer them to another section, or we usually end up needing touch-ups every now and then. You can just say, you know what, Maureen, I'll leave it for my touch-ups for next year.
okay, okay,
And you
okay.
come in and just do your touch-ups and we're good to go.
Ooh, okay. I
But it
love
all
that. I love
depends on
that.
how people want to be. There's some people who don't want, like, they don't want to be seeing anything. There's different levels of hair growth, right? So there, when the hair come, there's some people who, at the end of it, it just turns into peach fuzz. You can't see it, you can't really feel it unless you're really in there, going in and looking and really trying to find them. They're okay with that. And then there's some people who are just like, you know what, I don't want it. So
Mm-hmm,
it depends
mm-hmm.
on what your comfort level is with the hair.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So let's recap a bit before we dive into the bodybuilding part. But okay, so as women with melanin skin,
Hmm.
what do you recommend are like the top 3 things we should do to have that glow? We want that glow. When you
We love
walk and
that glow. We love that glow.
yes.
I always tell my clients this, and honestly, sometimes estheticians, I've been in rooms with some estheticians and they're just like, no, Maureen, you can't be doing it like that. You should upsell products and stuff like that. So finding a very good esthetician is key. And not just an esthetician that is going to be all about sales. You want an esthetician that understands your skin, that aligns with your beliefs, somebody that hears you. You know, if you're coming to me and you're telling me, Maureen, I like natural products, and I'm here telling you, here are all my paraceuticals. This is what you should use. This is what you should use. That doesn't work. You know, you want somebody that will hear you. Now, having said that, it's just because I hear you doesn't mean I don't challenge you either, or I don't recommend what I think is best for you. I hear you. We will work with what you have, and I will tailor my treatments to that. However, I will still recommend what I think is best. So that's where the good esthetician part comes in. And then you have to play the role. You know, in the Bible, it says, your body is the temple. I
Mm,
paraphrase that. Now, your body, our skin is the largest organ that we have, and
it is.
anybody will tell you that. People, if you, the estheticians will tell you, your hairdressers will tell you, the doctor will tell you, that's our number one basis. The skin is the largest organ that we have, and we only get one. We
Mm,
only get one.
yeah.
You have to treat it right. So it finding that good esthetician, and then you yourself finding the proper nourishment that your body needs. We were talking about workouts, and you were saying that it's very important for people to know what workout works with their body.
Right.
Same thing with that glow. What foods work with your body? We need to hydrate our skin. Our skin needs enough hydration. I can't emphasize hydration enough. Even before my facials, I tell people I need you to drink water. Drink water at home. If they're coming in and they've only hopped up on caffeine, I'm like, okay, no, sit down. Here's a bottle of water. I need you to drink this. And when they're done, I hand them a bottle of water as they leave. And then your routine at home, whether it's a natural skincare routine or a paraceutical one or an over-the-counter one, you need to make sure that it works.
Okay, but for skincare routine, like, oh, it could be so complicated. Like, what are the simple ones? Do we need to
It
have
is
like,
very complicated. And now, after the pandemic, everybody and their grandma became a skincare guru on social
yeah.
media. So Um, there are different tests that you can take to find out what kind of skin tone you have, right? I will be actually uploading that test on my website once they're done reconfiguring the SEO. Um, Questionnaires that you have that just tell you how you plug in, like now it'll ask you how your skin reacts to the sun, what happens after the sun, like do you burn, do you get red? Do you tan? Like, do you peel? Do you break out? There's questionnaires that you can go through that will tell you what skin you have, or just go see your esthetician for skin analysis. You've seen my skin analysis machine. They come in and I can go 7 layers deep and see what is going, because I don't like guesswork. I don't like guesswork.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
sometimes people don't always disclose everything that they're using, because everything from medication, routine, how you sleep, how often you change your bedding, all these
Huh?
things affect our skincare. And
I did not know that.
unfortunately, yes, after a facial, I always tell people the first thing you do when you get home is change your sheets. Change your sheets, change your
Imagine like putting all
pillowcase.
that money into your facial treatment and then you're going back into a dirt.
Exactly. So sometimes people always just go about, oh, well, my skin is breaking on now. I haven't changed anything. That means I need to change my skincare routine. And then they go and buy $600 worth of products, come put them in there. They're not working. Go back and buy another. No, it's very simple. Analyze your skin. Our skin changes with everything. Our hormones, our food, our intake, our stress levels, which also affect the hormones, and the weather. All these things affect how our skin reacts. So it's not
Oh, you talk
only
about the weather. Like, is there something like we should do, like, especially as dark skin tones, melanin skin, like in the winter, should we have a different regimen in the winter versus like
not
in the summer?
necessarily, you don't necessarily. have to change think of it like math, right? You have
Okay.
a an equation.
Okay.
There's usually sometimes multiple formulas to get to the right answer,
Right.
right? You don't have to change the whole equation. So you don't necessarily have to change up your full skincare routine. You just have to inject a few
Mm.
proper serums that will work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I tell, like, for instance, if you have, my skin gets drier in the winter time, right? So I
Right.
change my exfoliation method and routine, right? Whereas in the
Mm.
summertime, I exfoliate more 2, 3 times a week. In the wintertime, I do it once or twice only. And then I will
Okay.
change the gradient of that exfoliator. I'll have a micro
Yeah.
exfoliator sometimes in the summertime, and in the wintertime, I have more of a um, very smooth, fine-based exfoliator, right?
Okay. I
Because I
didn't know
don't want
about
to
the
add
different
to that
types
to
of.
that dehydration from my skin. And then I add my hyaluronic serums, right? And then I'll
Ah,
do my facial. When I do my facial, I add different masks in there. Okay.
yes, the
Now there
masks and
are
all of that.
very simple masks don't necessarily have to be all those ones that you find online or the gold mask. It's like 50,
Yes,
$60.
yes.
It doesn't have to be like that. There are steps that you can take at home. Just a little bit of cucumber with a little bit of aloe vera. You'd be surprised at the wonders that it would do. So when I do my consultations, when I go through all these things, I usually tell clients what they can do on a Sunday when you're sitting at home. For instance, right now, after we're done this, when my baby takes her nap, that's my skincare day. I'm somebody that doesn't like to wear makeup, so this is my
Hmm.
receptionist. And you wouldn't want me to touch your skin if my skin also looks funky, right?
Right,
So
right.
I go sit down and I have in the fridge there a little bit of aloe vera. I just get a natural the aloe vera plant. I grate in some cucumber, a little bit of coconut oil, and mix it up and just keep it in there. I use that as a mask on my skin. And then you'll find now if you have hyperpigmentation, there's other things that you can incorporate in there, like citric acids, you know? So these are the
Hmm.
type of things that I talk to people about because sometimes the budget does not allow for people to have the routine that is recommended. When you come and find one
Hmm.
serum alone is like 90 to $150, and you're looking at, well, that's just the serum. I still need a cleanser. I need to pre-cleanse. I need to cleanse. I need to hydrate. I need to exfoliate. And I still need to eat somewhere in there. By the time you're done patching all those together, it's a lot of money. So I
Yeah.
do my consultations and then I not only work from my experience side of things, I work with my knowledge to help people. Like I ask them, what is your home care routine? What do you do at home? There are some people who don't have time. I have people who just tell me I splash water on my face and I go. Someone
Hmm.
like that, I can't give them a 7-step protocol to follow because I know I'm
So
just
you're
talking to
very
myself.
tailored.
I'm
Okay.
talking to myself if I do that. So
Right.
I tailor something that's just 1 or 2 products that will help enhance. And when those people tend to see, okay, well, you know what? I did that 1, 2 thing that you told me. It's really working great.
Hmm.
So what else can I do? When they start seeing the benefits, then they're more involved in the process. They see, oh my God, I'm looking 10 years younger now. I like this feeling. I don't want to lose it. And then we grow on that, and we keep
Yeah.
working, tweaking it every now and then and adding or reducing whenever needed. So yes, all my treatments, all my recommendations are always very custom made.
I'm one of those. I'm guilty. Like I'm a very simple person when it comes to like skincare routine. And I think this as I'm getting older and like thankfully, like thank you, mommy. Like I've had
Genetics
some
are
good
good.
genetics are good, but still like I still want to like improve what I have. So skincare and I want to improve that because I'm definitely guilty. Like I am terrible. Like I'm a, soap and just like body cream type of person.
Right?
But you know what? I drink a lot of water and I do take care of my nutrition, and that probably like
It
contribute. Like
helps a lot.
I'm
And
a help.
exercise. And
Exercise. Yes, yes, yes,
exercise.
yes. Of
It
course,
is
exercise.
it's one of those hard truths that people don't like to hear. I right now, we talked about this. I'm not
Yeah.
like my workout routine right now is not the best. However, just even just if you can just find just that 15 minute, 10, 15 minutes and just make sure in that 10, 15 minutes, hell, even if it's 5 minutes and you just say, I'm gonna do every day a 5 minute just power workout. I'm gonna do my squats, I'm gonna do my lifts, anything that will get your blood boiling and your heart rate up. If you can only dedicate that 5 minutes, dedicate that 5 minutes. On the days that you can do more, do more. That really helps
Mm.
our skin. It
You
really
see?
helps our skin.
You see, guys, like everything ties in. And now let's jump into like the bodybuilding